I wanted to ask a question, though, for Ms. Overholt. You had indicated that housing is foundational, housing is fundamental, and I think we could even recognize that housing is a human right and it is a social determinant of health, and it is the province's responsibility. In this discussion, do you think it's wise for the government to rely on for-profit developers to create affordable housing? Is it effective?
I think what I've said is that this is a huge crisis, and so I think there's a role for government direct investment in housing. And as I was trying to explain to the former speaker, that I have seen what happens to clients when they lose housing and how difficult it is for them to resume their livelihood once they're housed again. And the cost to what they have undergone is a huge emotional cost, but has had an impact on our health system, on our education system, on our employment systems, because when you look at the long-term effects of being homeless, it's so difficult to integrate again. And for some people, they're never able to resume the level of mental wellness that they had before they lost their housing. So for me, it's a question of what can we do to preserve the housing that people are in now? Right. So what enforcement can we, what mechanisms can we identify in terms of keeping people housed? And how can we do some direct investment, right? Because if the government isn't putting money on the table to actually build social housing, we're not going to achieve these laudable goals of increasing the number of houses that are built in Ontario.
Most definitely.
From when you look at what the industry says, they don't have the staff. They're worried about the market going soft, and so where they're going to build are those luxury homes and not in affordable housing. And when you have income rates like you have with social assistance, the thought of owning a home is out of range for anyone low income. So if the government isn't providing it, if it isn't building it, then those needs are not going to be addressed.
Absolutely. I think it's important for this committee to recognize that the NDP government in the 1990s created the greatest amount of social and affordable housing of any government of its kind, and much of that social and affordable housing exists to this day. But it comes down to a question of ethos. If we're looking towards a profit-making industry to create something, their mandate is going to be profit. Whereas if we had a public builder, their mandate would be actually creating the housing itself. I also wanted to ask, it was unprecedented back in 2019.